Hi, Courtney here to talk to you today about how to stay out of debt, how to get out of debt, and how to become financially independent. And this is something my husband and I have done. And if you don't know my backstory, my husband and I were both single parents when we met at the age of, I was, 40, and I was almost 41. I was 40 and he was 53. And now we are 51 and 64. We've been together for about 11 years now. We were single parents raising teenagers when we met, and we did not get married until about 4 years ago. So these are things that we have done and that have proven to take us from two broke, single, hardworking parents to being financially independent in a sense. Financial independence means that you can live off of the money that you have and you have cash flow. You don't have to earn any more money. We could do that if we chose to, but it would take selling our property and downsizing, and we're choosing not to do that right now. Within the next 2 years, we'll have residual income coming in from his pension, and we'll be living off of that. But it doesn't matter your age. It does matter your income. You absolutely have to be able to get to a point where you can earn enough, but that's not as big a figure as some people think. I personally, the most I've ever made is about $57,000. I've never made over that. And for many, many years, I was making more, around $30,000 a year. So we were able to get financially independent, making less than six figures for many years. We did not make over six figures, low six figures, until just a few years ago when we combined incomes. So let me give you what we did and what I know can work, because I did this when I was younger too. The first thing you have to do is you have to quit getting in debt. Everything you can do to quit getting in debt, and that is probably going to be getting an emergency fund. A lot of people will say to me, I can't save an emergency fund. I need to pay this debt. Well, what's happening is you are oftentimes using your credit as an emergency fund, and that is a dangerous game to play. Trust me, I've been there. I got out of debt several times before and got right back into debt because of my mindset. You have to get an emergency fund. So for the time being, all you're going to do is pay your minimums until your emergency fund is up where it needs to be. And that might be that you sell some stuff, you work extra, you cut back on your spending, but you need to get an emergency fund. And ideally, it really needs to be a month worth of income, but start with $500 to $1,000. That will help a lot. That will cover most car repairs, dishwasher breaks, unexpected bills you didn't have. Things like new tires and car insurance are not emergencies. You know they're coming up. You need to save and plan for them. So getting an emergency fund and quit getting in debt. If your car breaks down, that can often mean that if you don't have the money to pay cash for a clunker car, and a lot of people don't, what I would recommend, let's say your car breaks down and you've got to get a new car. If you can, get a cash car or find a very cheap car. That is not always possible, but if you are going to go out and buy and finance a car, get the least expensive that you can. Get the smallest payment that you can. That way it will not be such a burden on you in the long run. The second one is to start thinking about needs versus wants. For instance, with the car, do you need a fancy new $40,000 car, or can you get by with a 10-year-old Honda Accord with a payment, and if you absolutely feel like you need the warranty? I will give you an example. Back in the day, when I was a single mama, I had paid off my Toyota Highlander. And at the time, a lot of people don't know this, but about 10, 12 years ago, gas was $4 a gallon. And I just was paying so much for tires, maintenance. My car had gotten to a point where it needed about $2,000 worth of maintenance, and I was traveling for work. And I went and I sold that car. I made $10,000. I put $5,000 down on a new to me Subaru Well, it was a new Subaru. It was $25,000 and I only financed $20,000. Now that's a lot of money, but granted, I was a single mom. That car got about 32 miles to the gallon to 33 miles to the gallon, and it had service on it for 3 years. I paid that car off in 3 years. My payment was like $325 a month. I knew that I could make that payment. I had a business that was that was successful and that was making the payment for me. But it's still, if you're a business owner, it's still your money paying the bills. Don't trick yourself into saying, well, the business is paying for it, because you are the business. So at any rate, I made that decision, but I did not go out and get the more expensive Outback or the more expensive Forester. I got the car that would meet my needs, and it was fairly basic, and that's what I went with, and it was affordable. So at the very least, quit getting in debt or get the minimal when it's something that you absolutely need. So needs versus wants. When, let's say that you have a tendency to buy clothes every spring and summer, go through your clothes, see what you have. What do you need for this winter? If you need a pair of boots for winter, you absolutely do not have them, then make a list, but don't just go out and randomly buy a new wardrobe every spring or fall. The next one is to make it last longer. When I was a single mother and I had a big sprawling house and 4 children at home, I just had to make things last. So I did not do upgrades, and that's another thing. Don't upgrade if you don't have to, or get the less expensive product. So around the house, oftentimes all I did was repair things. I did not upgrade anything. I used what I had to decorate. I might go to a thrift shop, but I would give myself a budget for wants, if you will. So you want to go needs versus wants. You first want to get down to what do you need, but everybody needs a little bit of fun in their life, a little bit of cushion. I mean, fun doesn't have to cost anything, but sometimes, you want to go buy a pair of pants, or you want a new bedspread, or for me, I hadn't gotten towels in 5 years. And yesterday I spent about $100 on some towels and things for the house that we needed because it had been so long. Could I have gotten around with the raggedy towels? Of course I could have. But you want to extend the life of things, fix, repair before you replace. Can your phone go a little longer? Don't do the payment plans. Go to Walmart. I use Straight Talk. I pay cash for my phones. Get the least expensive phone that you need, not the most expensive. So my husband, if you ask him, he was not good with money. He's a hard worker. When we met, he just he wasn't given any financial literacy. And so he said the most powerful thing for him was to learn the needs versus wants and start writing down what he was bringing in and what his bills were. He didn't record everything he spent because for him it was too tedious with his schedule, working 2 jobs, but he did write down all of his expenses every month, bills, horse feed, etc. And that helped him see that, oh, in fact, I do have enough. I am just spending without looking at my money. Okay. So also get resourceful. That is one thing for me. I will go through, I'll go to Pinterest and look at boho or eclectic decorating, and I'll get an idea, and then I'll go through my house and see if I can rearrange or use what I have to get a similar look. That has been something that I have done for years. Or I'll go through my closet and I'll put together 10 outfits. I'll go on Pinterest and I will take what I have and try to make it happen. As a matter of fact, I had a bag of clothes I was going to take to the resale shop, and she said, wait till fall. This was back in early spring. And it was March, and she said, I don't want to put that out yet. It was just some skinny jeans, some little boots I had, and a black shirt. Well, I was looking around on Pinterest and I noticed everybody's saying skinny jeans are out, but actually there is a look where it's not. So I put together an outfit with those clothes I was going to get rid of. I do get rid of a lot, by the way. I do try to live a very minimalist lifestyle. But if you will look on Pinterest, you very likely have a lot of the things in your closet that are similar, maybe not just alike, to an outfit you see on Pinterest. Oftentimes We will buy a pair of shoes for an event and maybe wear them once or twice, and then another event comes and we think we have to have something new. Get creative, be resourceful. We use jelly jars for glasses. It's so funny to me because on Pottery Barn, they sell jelly jars for like $34 for 4 or something crazy like that. And I thought that's hilarious. You can go to Walmart and buy them for like $8 for 4. So we use jelly jars. So get resourceful. Make a plan. You've heard the saying that failure to plan is planning to fail. And I 100% believe that. Nothing works without a plan. Your plan can change. You can alternate your plan. It doesn't have to always stay the same, but you need to have a plan. I have a plan that we're going to save $2,000 to $3,000 a month. That is, I know for a lot of people, that's all you make. And it was for us for a long time. But between us, we make about $76,000 a year in our combined income from our business. Now, there is some side hustles going on there that make a little bit more, but that's our income. And we have gotten where we only spend about $36,000 a year to $42,000. So I try to save the rest. And so every month I know how much I'm going to save. I do use a credit card. I didn't for years. I don't suggest that if you don't have a good history with credit cards or you're in debt. But I use a credit card every month to buy groceries, buy gas, buy essentials. And then I keep an eye on it. I go log in to that account. I see, okay, it's getting to a certain amount. That's my limit. And then I know how much our monthly bills are. They're like $576. There's extra things that come along during the year that we have to pay, like homeowners, car insurance, etc. And I know how much those are a year divided by 12, and I put that money back every month. But if the credit card gets to a certain point, we stop spending. Or I know that like we only have $100 left for groceries till the cutoff date. And that is really helpful. I also never spend more on the credit card than I could pay off in a month. So I always have that money because I use the points for travel and whatnot. This is not a travel hacking video. I actually have one of those if you want to see that. But maybe if the limit was $1,500 a month for everything, then if I look and we have a week left and we've already spent $1,300, we only have $200 to spend. I hope that makes sense. So we always have a plan for our spending. I also plan in quarters. So I will know that like from October, November, and December, that is holiday season, and I will have a plan for spending. Okay, it's going to be the time to buy Christmas gifts, and we're going to have Thanksgiving, and I will have a budget made out for saving for the extra holiday spending and for bills for those 3 months, so that I will kind of know things do change, things go up and down, but having a plan gives you guardrails. The next one is while you are, and this kind of goes back to getting your, if you're in debt, go ahead and just pay your minimums until you get your emergency fund. I don't know why I didn't put this at the beginning, but so for instance, I have a family member I'm helping. I'm encouraging this person to pay their minimums while they're building their emergency fund. And then you start paying down on the smallest debt first. And so if any of you are familiar with Dave Ramsey, he's not my favorite person because he can be quite harsh, but sometimes people need that. And the way he has codified everything with money is very simplistic. It comes actually from Larry Burkett, and there are other people who have done it before him, but he popularized it, and it's very easy to follow the baby steps. So the other thing I've done my entire adult life since I learned to make a budget, I do a paper budget. My stepmother taught me to do a paper budget when I was 18 years old. To this day, I do it across the top. I put the income when it comes in on the date down to the side, all the things we have to pay when they're due, and that's the budget I've always used. What's left over, what goes into savings, etc. So all my life, when I've looked at my budget, I've said, what can I trim? Okay, so even on the Wi-Fi, a lot of you don't know this right now, but there was a law passed that gave some money for Wi-Fi. And so you can call and get like a $20 credit on your bill, which would save you anywhere from $120 to $240 a month. I'm getting that right now on our bill with Viasat or HughesNet. So you can look and see on our main house, that's on our Airbnb. On our main house, I've cut back to Starlink. Viasat was $160 a month. Starlink is $110. I will often see, can I cut the food budget 10%? Can I cut the gas budget 10%? Where can I cut? Sometimes it just meant calling my creditors or places like the gas company. You know, just there are things you can do even within utilities and things that may seem fixed that aren't. So see where you can cut and start by cutting off 10% of where you can. That will make a big difference. And then that 10% would go to either your emergency fund or debt. The next one was to, I said to trim, let's see. It really is the little things. Okay. I preach and preach about this, and I know there has been a lot of hubbub in the past, in recent years about it's not the latte factor. It is the latte factor. The latte factor is the fact that you take, if you buy a Starbucks every day, and that is $8, which I'm going with a tall drink. I've only had one in the past year, so I don't know because I refuse to waste my money at Starbucks. But let's say you go out for it, and I just don't see the value in it. I don't enjoy it. I don't think it's any better than home. But let's say you go and you spend $8 because I got a tall, and by the time I gave tip and tax, it was $8 or $7.94, something like that. Assuming that you did that every day, 8 times 3 is $240 a month, which is, do the math, I can't even think, somewhere around what, $2,800 a year that you are spending. Now, the way we do most things is the way we do everything, okay? So if you are doing that, chances are you're probably spending in other areas as well, because if you're doing that, you're probably not paying attention to your finances. I'm not saying that that is a absolute, but so you would cut back. You might see where at home, so what I did was I messed around with coffees and found one that we like, and actually it's just the Walmart generic. We were buying the Javalia until inflation hit, and Starbucks coffee, and then the inflation hit and coffee went so high that my dad had told me this story about working in a Folgers plant, and they were watching the wrapping around the cans, and it changed to Kroger brand. And believe it or not, the Great Value brand at Walmart is really good. And so I went ahead and splurged and got the little flavored sugar-free syrup, and occasionally I put that in there, and I spend less than $1 a day. I mean, probably 50 cents on my coffee. So $30 versus $280. Another thing that seems really small, but when you do this over time, I figured this up this morning, the Great Value pods for your dishwasher are 10 cents a pod. If you buy the same Great Value in the smaller pack, it's 18 cents a pod. If you buy the name brand, it's 36 cents a pod. That seems minuscule, right? But just even that 8-cent difference in the Great Value going from the 30 or the big pack to the little pack, that's $29.20 a year savings. Now, that doesn't seem much. That's probably a couple of hours of work for the average person after taxes. If you're making $18 an hour minus taxes, probably about 2 hours of your life, right? But 2 hours of your life for dishwasher pods? I mean, I don't want to work for 2 hours and get paid in dishwasher pods, but that's essentially what we're doing. We're giving our time for stuff. And so there are certain things where I will spend more, like I recently switched to a little higher end shampoo and conditioner that cost a few dollars more. It's worth it to me. But in most areas, if I can save a few cents here and there every day, it adds up. And I have been doing this. I speak from experience. I am 51. I'll be 52 soon. I've been doing this since I was a teenager. I left home when I was 17, so I had to. And we have a net worth of over seven figures. I'll just say that, a little over 7 figures. And so I know it works. And I was a low income earner until just a few years ago. I was in my mid 40s before I had a decent income, and everything I'm talking to you about, I have done. I don't buy a lot when I don't need it. I only buy when I need it. And if I want something, I make sure that I have the money. I've already done my savings and paid my bills and things like that before I buy my wants, if you will. I hope this has been helpful. If you like this, I should have said in the beginning, please give it a thumbs up, but only if you like it. And please subscribe if you find this valuable. I so appreciate this. And if you find value in these videos, I would really appreciate you sharing them. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.